The Oscar goes to One Battle After Another.
Welcome back to The Better Half. I'm Bradley J. Halverson, and here with me, she's my better half. It's Carly Corio. Hi, Carly.
Hi, Brad. Hi, Bradley.
Oh, thank you. Get it right.
How are you doing right now, this very minute?
I'm good. Can't complain. And for anyone who knows me knows I am certainly a complainer. But I feel good. You know, at the time that we're recording this, it's March. The Oscars has happened, so it's been really fun to just with this project. It's really, I think, heightened my hype for watching the Oscars and seeing what the new Best Picture winner is. And so, yeah. What about you, Carly? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. You know, there's a lot going on, but I'm enjoying life, and we're both 33 now.
Yes.
Feels nice.
Yeah, love it.
No, but for real, things are going very well, and I couldn't be happier. In real time, as we're recording this, the weather is going up and down a lot, but I think we're looking to warmer weather, which is nice.
I'm ready for spring. I'm ready to not be running my furnace anymore. This was a very harsh, bitter winter that we had, and I'm sure many of our listeners can relate to it as well. So by the time folks are even listening to this, I imagine the weather is gorgeous, beautiful. I think May has always delivered. I think it's why it's the best month of the year. And I'm happy that my birthday takes place in this month.
Yeah. And I mean, we always get like a day off at the end of May. You know, it's like kind of a push to a nice little break.
Yeah.
Again, in real time, though. And I don't know if you want to talk about this now or later. We did just watch the 98th Academy Awards.
Yeah, we are not even a week removed from the 98th Academy Awards. And Carly, we had made the decision then rather than just adding, you know, the newest Best Picture winner into our big wheel that we've described before, we're going to tackle it right away. As soon as we know the movie, we're going to watch it and record its episode. And I think for at least the next 3 years when this project is still going on, I think we will tackle the subsequent Academy Awards as such. Whenever it happens, we will slot that movie into place. And essentially, we won't add any new films to our wheel, and we'll continue to just whittle that list down. So
very cool. I think I've said this before. I remember watching the Oscars when I was so into them, and I was like, oh my gosh, someday we're going to watch the 100th Oscars. And just to know we're so close is so cool. Like 98th, check. We have one more, and then it's the 100th. And the fact that we'll still be doing this during the 100th Oscars and plus, I just can't wait. And I will be completely honest with our listeners. I watched about 90 minutes of the Oscars, but I think it was the 90 minutes I needed to watch. Yeah. I was bowling during most of it, but when I got home, I turned it on. And when I started watching, they were performing Golden, which ended up winning Best Song.
Yep.
And I feel like from then on, that's everything that I needed to see was there. I missed, of course, the supporting actor awards, but I watched those speeches online and I feel like I saw everything. And I did see online, which I did miss, and I wish I would have seen it live, the reunion of the Bridesmaids, which is iconic in my life, our friendship. So cool.
So we're gonna, you know, as we do in these episodes, you know, our second half, we're gonna actually be able to provide you fresh, real takes on what happened at this year's Oscars because we just watched it. So I think that was cool. I took notes during it. So just talking about the 100th, like it is some movie being released in 2027 is going to have that distinction of being the 100th Best Picture winner.
Wild.
But yes, let's get it back to the 98th Academy Awards here. We are here talking about One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, released in 2025. It won Best Picture at the 98th Academy Awards, which just took place on March 15th, 2026.
Oh, we were there.
We were there. I remember where I was when I watched this Oscars.
Me too.
There's a bit of an ensemble cast in this movie. We're going to see some top tier talents. Of course, we have Leonardo DiCaprio, who Carly has a very close relationship with in her own mind.
Actually had a poster of him in my room growing up. Yeah. So pretty big deal.
And also we got a very chiseled Sean Penn is in this movie.
Oh my gosh. Harvey Milk?
Right. Milk?
That's exactly what.
Damn, Milk.
Harvey Milk?
We also have Regina Hall, who plays probably one of my favorite film characters of all time in Brenda in the scary movies.
Brenda!
And there's some fresh faces here as well. Some actors who this is really my introduction to them. So we have like Teyana Taylor, who is going to receive a nomination for her role in this movie for supporting actress. And Infiniti Chase, who...
Chase Infiniti, I think.
It's Chase
right?
Infiniti?
It's Chase
or is
Infiniti.
It's not Infiniti Chase.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Chase Infiniti.
Okay.
That's what I have written down.
Yeah, you're right.
Please keep that in.
And we also have Chase Infiniti, who is going to be a star in the upcoming sequel series of The Handmaid's Tale. So I know Carly's into that.
Yeah. Huge star. And Paul Thomas Anderson like gave her a huge shout out at the Oscars too in his speech. So he basically like gave her a huge blessing and like shout out. So she's a big star.
Yes, rising star for sure.
On the rise, yeah.
And I cannot miss also Benicio del Toro, who standout performance here as well. And also will receive a supporting actor nomination as well. So One Battle After Another is an adaptation. It's based on a book called Vineland, written by a guy who I'm not familiar with, Thomas Pynchon. And so I think without further ado, Carly, I would love to hear your short synopsis of One Battle After Another.
Yes. One Battle After Another is a high-stakes action thriller following Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, a former 1960s-style revolutionary living in hiding. When his past catches up to him and his daughter Willa goes missing, he must confront his former life to rescue her.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun. Yes, you did it. You nailed it.
I wrote it all by myself with no help of AI or Google.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
I can't really say what time period we're heading into. This could be like 90s, maybe early 2000s. This movie is going to have a time jump of 16 years where they definitely have iPhones. So I want to say we're somewhere in the 90s, maybe early 2000s here in the beginning of the film. And we're going to be in this opening act, if you will, for like the first 30 minutes or so. But we're going to be transported here to like the US-Mexico border. We're very familiar with this area after doing No Country for Old Men. And
I was thinking, I was like, wait, we're
just
still here.
Did that.
We have not moved.
A lot of things are going to happen here in this like opening scene, but and the movie's not going to take a lot of time to hold your hand and like explain every little thing. But for you, the listener, the setup here is we're being introduced to this, this revolutionary group called the French 75. And we're going to see a few of its prominent members who are the characters we're going to be following throughout the story. And so we first see our girl, Perfidia Beverly Hills.
Perfidia Beverly Hills. What an iconic name.
That's a drag name if I've ever heard one. So, love it.
You're so right.
And this is played by Teyana Taylor. She is dating lovers with a guy that they call Ghetto Pat. I'm just going to call him Pat. This is played by Leonardo DiCaprio. He will go through a bit of a rebranding later, so we'll call him by a different name. But yeah, so we got Perfidia, we got Pat. We also we do see shots of Regina's Hall character, Deandra, and she's also a part of this.
wait, don't say it like that.
Deandra.
No, it brings back horrible memories of another way you would say that name, but it's fine. It caught me way off guard and it sent chills down my spine.
Deandra.
Deandra.
Right now, they are in the middle of planning stages. This is a very like left political leaning sort of group organization. And their target here is this immigration detention center here at the US-Mexico border. And Pat, he is like explosive expert. Perfidia, she just commands the screen as soon as she's on it. You get the sense that she is like, she's not the figurehead of this group, but she very much carries herself like she is. And
yeah, she's kind of like the energy behind it. You like the energy, she's very much riling everyone up. She's very much like, okay, let's do this and that and that, and let's go. And while she may not be the leader, she's like the motivator.
Yes, yeah. And so that night, we're going to see their plan take into effect, and they're going to infiltrate this immigration detention center. And Perfidia is going to, well armed, she's going to confront our main antagonists, of the film. This is, at this time, he's Captain Stephen J. Lockjaw, played by, again, the very chiseled, big-armed Harvey Milk himself, Sean Penn. And this is a very charged scene, and maybe not in the way that you would be expecting.
I didn't really get it. I was like, wait, what? I don't know. I don't get how this contributes to the revolution is my point.
Yeah. I will say this movie, because we're going to give you an example of it, there's dark humor throughout the whole thing. And I think that was what's surprising. I thought this was going to be very like dramatic, straightforward, right? Just like following the lives of these revolutionaries, but there's actually like humor throughout all of it. I think we get an example of it here where Perfidia is holding Lockjaw at gunpoint. He was like asleep in a chair, so she wakes him up at gunpoint, has him like handcuff himself or zip tie himself up, his hands or whatever, and she's like, okay, get up. And so he starts to shimmy, you know, as she's like, not on your feet. And she looks down at his crotch and she's like, get it up.
Get it up. I wrote get it up, and then the next note I have is OMG boner bulge.
Yeah,
he literally gets it up.
Yeah, we like cut away really quickly, and then when we cut back, it's like straight to Sean Penn's like prosthetic huge bulge in his pants.
In the camera
huge
work
boner
throughout the movie is very good, I think. But yeah, it's like the camera is set like below his bulge.
Yeah,
and it's like looking up at Sean Penn, and you just see the big bulge right in front of him, and it's like, oh my god! Again, how is this contributing to the mission here? Perfidia.
I definitely think it sets up some things between these two characters because he is at full mast here. And again, it's like you're being held at gunpoint. Like it takes a special son of a bitch, I think, to get it up on command like that while a gun is pointed at your face. And he's like staring her down with huge boner. And eventually she's like, okay, now like get on your feet. Like now get up. And the other way, get up. And she like shuffles him out the door while he's got full boner. And so again, I think we're meant to sort of like...
It never goes down.
No, yeah. Again, full mast, full 12 o'clock here. And she kind of escorts him out while, you know, their plan is successful around them. Pat's setting off explosives. You know, the immigrants are getting out and being freed. And, you know, and Perfidia, who's like wearing no mask, by the way. Like this revolutionary group are not really doing this behind a mask. They are like boldly, courageously showing their faces, giving out their real names. Although Perfidia Beverly Hills sounded like a fake ass name to me, but
yeah, for sure.
She's like giving them their full name, you know, their social security number, their mother's maiden name, like.
And we'll get into this, but I continue to say, how are they still doing this? You know, because they do. They go on for a while, and I think it's part of just their mission and their group is they just do it as themselves. They don't hide a lot, and they're proud of what they're doing, so they do it. But yeah.
Yeah, and we really don't get a lot of information about the French 75. Why is that their name? How did this group come to be? How long has it been in existence? There will be like context, like they're going to have like coded languages and all of these sort of like a tunnel network, and they have the ability to like change identity. So like they seem to be a sophisticated group, but we don't really, this movie is really not about the history of the group. It really is about some of these prominent members at this particular time. So
I could see a whole movie about the group or a whole docuseries about the group itself. But you're right. We don't get a lot of the background, but it's a very intricate kind of unit.
System.
For sure. Yeah.
And so as Perfidia is going to say goodbye to Lockjaw, there's like a metal gate in between them. He just very chillingly is like, I'll see you soon. And she's like, shut up, fuckface. And
she said, not if I see you first, fuckface.
They're all getting in their cars, their getaway cars, and they're like, you know, recklessly peeling off, right? Speeding away from their incident here. And, you know, we got Pat and Perfidia in the backseat of this car. And she is like, she's bricked up. You know, we say it a lot, but like she also got something up, I think, because she's like all over Pat. She's like, this event pulling this off was like a major turn on for her. And
huge turn on. Yeah.
And even when they're home, like Pat, you see him like explaining different explosives, and she's just like laying in a couch, like slowly touching herself and being like, "Oh yeah, explain that to me." And like, you know, eventually she goes over and like she straddles his lap, and again, like Perfidia is like excited about this work in more ways than one. I kind of wrote that she's, I think, a bit reckless. I think she's a bit spontaneous in a bad way. And yeah, she's very highly sexual. Like we're going to be heading into this like montage of them just doing different things. And like at one point, like Pat is like setting up some mines or some bombs or whatever, and they're running away, and she's like, Pat, let's fuck while the bombs go off. Come on. She's like literally trying to drag him to the ground. He's like, no, we gotta go.
We need to get away from here.
She's like, come on, please. She's literally like begging. And during one of these montage scenes where they're kind of like holding people at gunpoint, we are going to see that Captain Stephen J. Lockjaw is not too far away and is also observing these activities and observing Perfidia in particular. So we see him in a creepy ass van with some binoculars, and just the sound of him unzipping his pants and I guess jerking off while watching her. He definitely fetishizes black girls for sure. He definitely has some sort of fetish for Perfidia in particular. I think he's very like turned on by her, and he's like letting her do these things. But he does note that, I think like Pat gives her like a smack on the butt or something like that. He does note that there's some sort of relationship between these two. And when the movie finally gets started and we're kind of done with the montage and we're actually going to see like the title, overlaid on screen.
Yeah, when the title came in, I think at the 18-minute mark,
right,
I clocked in. I was like, oh,
okay. We're going to see like they're in the middle of another sort of operation. They're like infiltrating this like courthouse, and another operative of French 75 has like placed some explosives inside this vent in a bathroom. So Perfidia and Pat are going in there to collect it, to I guess lay the charges, whatever. Don't know really what the plan is, but so Perfidia gets in the bathroom, and as she, gets into the stall, stands on the toilet to the vent above and gets the charges, suddenly Lockjaw just busts in behind her in this bathroom stall. Very terrifying. She hands up immediately. She doesn't even really know who it is, but we do get this like charged scene between these two characters where Lockjaw is caught up to her and is like, here's the deal. I'll let you go. I'll let you keep doing what you're doing if you meet me in this hotel room later.
Yeah.
She like has a moment where she kind of like bends down off screen to like, and it kind of makes it look like, and he's like throwing his head back like he's being sucked off right then and there. But then she kind of just stands up because she was like picking something up.
She just walks away. And I was like, was that like insinuating something happened? And it just like I don't know. I didn't know what happened, but yeah. I
think like what I saw is like Perfidia, when she realizes it's Lockjaw, like I think she realizes in that moment, and I think this is effective with her, Teyana's like performance here. It's like she has all the power. It's like she knows that she has something that he wants. She's going to get her way ultimately, and like she can sort of manipulate him in this bathroom stall. Yeah,
which I got from their first interaction. It was like, here's
very
Perfidia, this revolutionary with this militant man that she's ultimately, her whole mission is against someone just like him. And she's like, I have the power here. I'm going to make him do whatever I want him to do. And I think like you said, once she realizes it's him, she's like, oh, I know how to play this game and I'm going to win this game kind of thing.
Yeah. And we see her and Pat leaving the courthouse, but we don't see her informing Pat of this encounter at all. He is none the wiser. And we next see Perfidia shows up at this hotel room. We then see a shirtless, chiseled Sean Penn being like thrown against the wall. And again, she's like holding a gun to his back. And again, this is all speaking to this like this weird power, violent, like they're like dynamic, twisted thing that they got going on. And again, she kind of like bends down off screen. And I'm like, did she just shove that gun in his ass? Like, I didn't know what was going on.
But regardless of what's going on, Sean Penn loves it.
Oh, he's so into it.
Yeah.
And then very interestingly, this movie cuts from the hotel room to a wide shot of Perfidia shooting a machine gun, like out in a field somewhere, like ba 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 ba. And what's prominent here is a full pregnant belly just out in the open.
Huge pregnant
while she's
belly.
shooting this gun.
I told Brad, I was like, that looks like a twin pregnant belly. Like it's a huge pregnant belly,
big.
which I know is probably part of the direction. They just wanted it to be big and prominent. Yeah. But yeah, huge pregnant belly. And you're like, what the? All of a sudden she's just hugely pregnant. So that's one time jump, the smaller time jump in the movie. But yeah, they just cut to her being super pregnant.
Super pregnant. And so this is kind of a central mystery to the movie, right? We just saw her having sex with Lockjaw, and now, she's pregnant. But we get the sense that Pat is none the wiser and would, of course, assume that this baby is his. We start to see a change in Pat. Like you said, this is like a bit of a 9-month time jump, 8-month or whatever, based on the size of that belly, and maybe 16-month time. Like that thing has been cooking for. Pat, though, he expresses concerns to Deandra of like, what are we going to do when this baby comes? Like, we can't be doing this kind of deal. And this starts to set up I think just a fundamental conflict between someone like Pat and someone like Perfidia, because, you know, the baby is going to be born. They're going to name, it's a baby girl, Charlene. And Pat very much stops his like revolutionary role to put on his dad hat here. He's the dad who stepped up. And and yet we see Perfidia, though, she's not as happy with this dynamic. She's not as thrilled.
Yeah.
She complains about breastfeeding. Like, I don't know if it's like postpartum depression or whatever that they were kind of exhibiting, or just in general, this was something that she didn't really want to have happened. I feel like at some point they're living with maybe some of Perfidia's, like, I don't know if these were family members or just other members of the organization, but they were talking to Pat, and I wrote this down because Pat's kind of expressing like, hey, she's not slowing down. She's not taking care of this baby with me. And these older women are like, she's a runner, you a stump. And
Yeah.
I think it speaks that Perfidia can't sit still. Like, I think like this baby is now representative of the fact that she has to stop with this like really fast-paced lifestyle and all this dangerous violence, and instead, like, you have to be here for this child now. And I think for Pat, he understood the assignment when this baby was born, but Perfidia, she's like, this is not enough for me, and I can't give up the French 75 for this motherhood.
And she mentions that he, meaning Pat, pays more attention to the baby than to her.
Yes.
So,
yeah. She's like,
so there's just,
yeah. She expresses jealousy.
just, I think priority, jealousy. I think I wrote, jealous of the baby Pat relationship. Definitely, you know, I mean, you see this with a lot of women, like postpartum depression, just because your whole life changes. And I think it was like Perfidia did not like one way her life was changing.
Yeah.
And you see this little montage of her kind of trying to cope, and she's out like sprinting and running. And you see she's, even though she has this new life, she's trying to tie herself back into her old life.
I do think she's conflicted about this. Like, I think she starts to unravel at the seams a little bit. And we're going to see her, like, she's going to have this scene with Pat where she's trying to sneak out of the house, and he's literally standing right by the door holding the baby, being like, what the hell are you doing? And she makes a choice here of, like, she effectively kind of leaves Pat and Charlene, and she's like, I can't give this up. And she gets right back into the French 75 work. But it all is not the same, because we're going to see with their next operation, they're going to hit up this bank. And there's a side character here who I love. Her name is Jungle Pussy.
Jungle Pussy. As I was looking through the cast, I was like, her character name is Jungle Pussy, and I can't wait to see what she does.
Yeah, I just love it as this bank scene starts and they all like come in, you know, guns in the air and, you know, announcing the presence. Jungle Pussy just gets up on top of the bank counter, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, my name is Jungle Pussy. As she's waving a gun around, she's like, this money is going to pay for my lifestyle, my lavish transportation, my food. I just loved it. It was such a quick scene, but I was like, I was so riveted by Jungle Pussy.
And it's really her only line. I mean, she's mentioned a few times in the movie, but that is her whole role in the whole movie, for sure.
Yeah, she kind of gets cut off because there's a gunshot off screen, and it's Perfidia shooting and killing a bank guard who was responding to the scene. And that really, like, Jungle Pussy, everybody, this was clearly not according to plan. And they're like, oh, fuck. And up until this point, we haven't seen them actually... They have guns. Yes, they're pointing them at people, but we didn't actually ever see them shoot anybody or actually kill anybody up until this moment. And I think this is reflective of Perfidia's mental headspace right now. Like, she's in too deep now. She's losing sight of herself, perhaps because she just made this difficult decision that she hasn't reckoned with, and kills this guy, and which makes the whole French 75 like scatter, and they're all being pursued. We get a little bit of a car chase here. And ultimately, Perfidia does get captured. Yeah. And we got to check in with Pat. It's a really quick scene, but he's like in a grocery store in a checkout line. And we just see Lockjaw just like suddenly in line behind him. He's like, oh, you're buying things for a baby. You have a baby. It's important because now Lockjaw knows that there is a child involved, a child that he believes could very well be his as well. Mm-hmm. And so when Perfidia does get captured by the police, we see her, she's like tied to a hospital bed. He's like there by her bedside, and he was like, hey, I can get you out of this. You just have to give up the names. Give us the names of the French 75, and you will be protected. Look out for yourself. He really like leans into Perfidia's self-preservation mode. We don't see her respond right there, but we get our answer in this sort of montage where we start to see French 75 members in different places just being gunned down, being captured, gunned down, arrested by law enforcement.
Like, it was hard to, I didn't really get it, you know? I'm like, since when does law enforcement like find people and
people.
like one of them was just walking out of their apartment or something and was like gunned down.
Yeah.
And again, I know Lockjaw's like messed up in the head and this was like his mission. And obviously he's not doing it by the book, it seems. But yeah, I was like, what kind of law enforcement is this? That's just, and we learn throughout the movie, it's a very corrupt system.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you see just, they're all gunned down, arrested, all these members of French 75 that we had seen working with them. Mm-hmm. All but a couple, of course. But yeah, it was a very interesting montage because I'm like, man, they're really like taking them out literally.
Yeah, we do see our girl Jungle Pussy. She's not gunned down, but she is taken as well. So Perfidia gave up all the names, and in return, they put her into witness protection. They set her up in this home. And the few that haven't been captured, you know, Pat and Charlene being a part of that, there's an escape plan. So we are going to see, it's this guy, Howard. So he gives them new identities. Like, here's some dead people. It's Bob and Willa Ferguson. You're going to go out to California. You're going to start a new life. Forget all this. And he also gives them these like weird, they're not like walkie-talkies, like weird, some sort of like devices that like will beep when they're near each other. These like proximity.
I mean, it's literally what we just saw in the last movie. I was like, this is again like the sensors
tracking.
That as they got closer, they beeped like with the briefcase and the sensor. But yeah, I was like, oh, it's the same idea.
So we know they're going to get out. They're going to be safe. They're getting new identities. They're going through rebranding. And we're lastly going to cut to Lockjaw with like flowers like coming to the witness protection home. Perfidia doesn't answer, so he literally like bulldozes the door down.
He walks back to his truck so nonchalantly, like he's gonna leave, opens his back door, and there's a full
like battering ram.
Yeah, gets out this little like mini like battering ram, very casually batters open the door. I was like, this guy's so fucked up. Like, why does he have that in his truck?
And he goes in, and Perfidia has abandoned the place. She has left him a little note that says, "This pussy don't pop for you."
Iconic. And it was on like the instruction sheet of like, you're welcome to the witness protection program. Here's some instructions. Yeah, exactly. We're here to protect you. And she wrote on the back, "This pussy don't pop for you." And then we see her walking into Mexico.
Heading to Mexico, right?
And that's really the last we see of Perfidia.
Series wrap on Perfidia.
I thought we would see so much Teyana Taylor. Like, even watching the movie, I didn't think this was the end of her. And of course, like, she's referenced throughout the movie. But yeah, this was probably, 40 minutes into the movie. And
exactly.
That's it.
Yeah, and this secured her an Oscar nomination for the 30 minutes of screen time. So she really does make an impact, and you feel it watching it. You really do. Like, this character just commands the screen every time, and she's very interesting to think through her actions, her behavior, her decision to give up the members, be a rat, basically, and fully abandon her daughter, Charlene. I
mean, the first 30 minutes of this movie is Perfidia. That's what that's what everything focuses on. This whole movie you think is going to be about this woman leading this revolution, you know, being torn between her family and the revolution.
Yeah.
It blew my mind that she wasn't in the rest of it. But yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah. And so, boom, we're going to cut to 16 years later. And Charlene is now known by Willa Ferguson. This is played by Chase Infiniti.
Chase Infiniti.
And they are now living in a place called Backton Cross, I want to say, in California. Mm-hmm. And Willa, we're going to see her first, 16-year-old Willa. She is in full karate gear, and she is practicing some moves with her sensei, who is Sergio St. Carlos, played by Benicio del Toro. Woo! Welcome to the movie, Benicio.
One of my favorite characters in the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have Benicio del Toro, like he's so good. But we don't get a whole lot from them here initially. But, you know, we're getting some setup here. Pat is now known as Bob. Bob, in these 16 years, he definitely suffering from some substance abuse disorder. He is constantly getting high, constantly drinking.
There's always smoke coming out of his nose or mouth, or both. Like, you never see him without it. Even at a parent-teacher conference, he's just smoking throughout it. The teacher's like, you can't do that here. But you really don't see him without smoke coming out of one of his holes.
He's at this parent-teacher conference, and as she's saying nice things about Willa, he like starts to cry. Like, again, I think he's like maybe just a little emotionally unstable here, but he's like, if you see me crying, it's because they're tears of joy. And he's kind of telling the teacher, but telling us watching that like, oh, her mom died when she was little. Like, he has crafted a story about Perfidia for Willa in that she died this hero. And we're going to see later, too, that Willa knows who Lockjaw is, and that is who Pat or Bob blames for her death. And so a little bit of a lie there, right? It's not true. And he wanted to represent Perfidia in a better light than what she actually was. So that's kind of the setup there. Again, Bob, increasingly dependent on substances, a little bit paranoid, a little bit sort of all over the place. Again, he came from, they're living in, with false identities, right? Like, they know that they are at risk of Lockjaw, of anyone, if they know their connections to French 75. And it's a little bit of a positive feedback loop. Like, the more paranoid he gets, the more weed he smokes. And the more weed he smokes, the more paranoid he gets. So that's kind of like Bob's like headspace,
so
right? So we got to check in on Lockjaw.
I said Lockjaw, older, weirder.
Yeah. For sure. But Lockjaw is now Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw. He received a Medal of Honor through his work with French 75.
The French 75.
And all the things that happened 16 years prior. And he's being invited to join a group of men and a group of white men, I'll say, in a hotel room, all dressed nicely because the lead guy, played by Tony Goldwyn, who is the president from Scandal, very handsome guy, I'll say.
President Fitzgerald.
And it's literally like his daughter's wedding. And he literally like stepped away from his daughter's wedding to hold this meeting with Lockjaw and some of these other random white guys.
He's like, thank you for meeting me here. Sorry, it's in a hotel. My daughter's getting married downstairs. It's like, what?
I don't even know the Tony Goldwyn's character here, but he's like, congrats. This is an exclusive invite to the Christmas Adventurers Club.
I know. When we were thinking of emojis, I did consider Santa. Not that I wanted to highlight these group of men, but I was like, why? Why is that the name? We never get an explanation either.
At first, it's like, oh, that sounds like a nice, pleasant organization. And then he keeps talking and he's like, it's really important that we as a group, we have discretion and that we view ourselves as superior to other people. And then you start to think like, wait, this doesn't actually.
Wait, what?
And then they start talking about racial purity. And then you're like, oh, you're white supremacists. Oh, no.
And with this, I was like, what is this group? Like, what's going on? Because I trust Tony Goldwyn, but then you very quickly stop trusting Tony Goldwyn.
Yep.
When you learn what this group is about.
Yeah. So we have a secret white supremacist society here that Lockjaw is very determined to be a part of.
Honored.
Yes. This is a high honor for him.
You could just tell he's so honored and excited to have been invited to this group. And again, it makes you be like, oh, if it's something he's pumped about, it's bad news.
And Tony here, he's like making it clear, like, hey, like, we obviously have to be very discreet. We're going to do a thorough investigation in. So if there's anything from your past, anything at all, if you have any dealings with black people in particular, we're going to find out. Okay, Lockjaw? Lockjaw is like,
says, no, not at all. And they do specifically say, they go off like, no this, no that, no interracial relationships. Yes, right. We obviously realize he's lying, but he's, and he kind of gets shaken. The Sean Penn, the way he acts this, you can tell he's a little shaken, but also like, he's like, no, absolutely not, sir. Absolutely. I get it.
Yeah. So this kicks everything into high gear for Lockjaw. And this really propels really the whole remainder of the film, because Lockjaw now has to basically find Willa, who is actual physical evidence that he slept with a black woman, and he has to kill her. And so suddenly we got a movie on our hands.
Yeah.
But he's going to hire a bounty hunter, a guy named Avanti. He's going to kidnap Howard. Howard is the guy from French 75 who gave Pat and Charlene their new identities, sent them on their way. Avanti kidnaps Howard. They interrogate him a lot. They threaten to hurt his sister. And Howard gives up their names and location. They're Bob and...
Gives names very quickly.
Bob and Willa Ferguson, they're in Backton Cross in California. And so Lockjaw's next step is like, okay, cool. We need to come up with a reason why the military is going to move into this city. Apparently, it's a bit of a sanctuary city where immigrants can go and like find work and be safe and all those things. And so they're going to use drugs, of course, as their front for why they're invading the city. Oh, there's drug operations coming out of this chicken joint or whatever like that. So they got to come in and start occupying the city. But in reality, they're just hunting down Bob and Willa. And they're going to descend on our heroes here, you know? Then we're going to cut to, I think, an important scene because we haven't really seen Bob and Willa together. So we're going to see them at home, and we're going to learn very quickly that Willa is not impressed with Bob's substance abuse. You know, she's like, where were you last night? You didn't come home until super late. He was like, I was at so-and-so's. I drove home drunk. I know how to drink and drive, he said. And she's like, not impressed at all.
Yeah, he's like, Willa, please. I know how to drink and drive.
He's like, I really am proud of you for speaking up to your father, but the way you speak to me sometimes, it's like,
yeah.
What? He's highly paranoid. He apparently doesn't even let her have a cell phone or anything like this, right? And she's being picked up. Willa is like, a car shows up and he's like, who's that? What's that car? Who's the guy with the nail polish on? And she's like, that's Bobo. What is Bobo? What? He, she, what? It's like, she's like, it's they, them. Okay. It's not that hard. It's not binary. And they're picking Willa up. These are her friends from high school, and they're going to a school dance. And so again, like, Pat is very just kind of aggressive to these high schoolers who are picking up Willa.
High school friends who are just nice.
Is like threatening them, like, you better return her in one piece, yada yada. Don't, anything you do to her, I will do to you and your whole family. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, it's humorous, but I think also speaks to Pat's just paranoia here, right? And as soon as Willa gets into the car, she immediately pulls out her secret cell phone. She's like, hey, I need a phone charger. My phone's dying. So
my phone's dead. But also, before she leaves, Bob makes her take
yes, good call.
The sensor, the beeper,
the tracking
whatever.
beeper or whatever.
Yeah, which seems, they make it seem, the way it's like shown, that it's a
normal.
Very like, and she's kind of like rolled her eyes, but she's like, okay, and goes off with the beeper.
She must have he must have explained, I don't know all the bits of French 75, but that was a question I did have, is like, how much does Willa know about their past life, like what happened with her mom and everything? So the fact that he would give her this weird device, right? And yeah, she treats it very like this, like, normalized behavior, tells me like, oh, he must have informed her enough. And so she's gonna head off to the dance, and while she's in this like very Euphoria looking bathroom with all these Euphoria looking kids, they sidle out. And it's just her, and suddenly Regina Hall shows up. Deandra, she just appears.
Well, all of a sudden you hear the beeper beeping, and she kind of pulls it out of her purse or whatever, and she's like looking at it inside, kind of confused. And then Regina Hall busts through,
and she starts repeating these like coded sentences, this coded phrase to her. And Willa's never seen this woman in her life, but she repeats the code, right? Like, completes it. And she was like, my dad said if anybody ever said that to me, I should just trust them with my life. And Deandra's like, yep, that's right. And we need to leave here right now. There are bad people on the way. Because we should also say, like, when Howard was kidnapped, a distress signal basically went out to the remaining hiding members of the French 75. So Deandra responded to that clearly, and knows exactly, like, Lockjaw is descending on Backtown Cross. He's coming for Willa. So she's here, and she really quickly earns the trust of Willa here to come with her.
Before they leave the bathroom, Deandra says, do you have a cell phone?
Yes.
She says, no, I don't have a cell phone. And she's
Okay,
like,
great.
Okay, let's go. And so, you see them fleeing like one direction, and in the background you see all the military vehicles coming in the other direction. Yep. So you see they just missed it. And again, like, things are heating up.
So we got to cut to Bob. He is smoking a joint at home, per usual. He's like on the couch, and he gets a phone call.
He's like, he was doing like what you often see with like people that smoke so much, where they like hold it with like medical,
tweezers,
like,
almost looking. Yeah,
exactly. They like, he's like holding the end of the joint with like that, and just smoking,
having a good time.
Yeah, that's like just his life. He loves it.
Well, this gets interrupted because he gets a phone call, picks it up. It's a random woman using coded language that informs him, like, hey, you're in deep shit right now. Like, Lockjaw is on the way. You and Willa are in trouble. Get out. Get to the rendezvous point. And then, like, hangs up before telling him where the rendezvous point is. And he's like high as shit. So he's like,
This was like the first of many phone calls that he gets from the French 75 ultimately. And, they obviously have this big code. It's been 16 years since Bob has been involved in any of this. And it's just so funny. He even says to the woman, he's like she gives some kind of code, and she's like, okay, you need to repeat it back to me.
Right.
And he's like, okay, I know that I know this. He's like, I might have had a little bit of weed right before this phone call, though. So, like, give me a second. And, like, this is kind of a running joke throughout. Like, these people keep calling him and asking for the code back. And he just does not remember, both because of time and his brain.
Fried.
So I did, you were talking about like humor
Yeah.
and stuff, and I did like that kind of thread throughout the movie.
So yeah, he gets off the phone. He's like, oh shit, oh fuck. It still takes some time to like, he keeps huffing that joint while he's like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh God. Oh wait, Willa. Okay, yeah. And it's kind of a cool moment where he kind of like looks to the front door. And so the camera, like, it seemed like it was his POV to the front door. And all of a sudden we just see it being blown off its hinges. And the military guys enter the house, but Bob has disappeared, gone from the living room, because of course he has some secret hidden underground tunnel. And Lockjaw is there, of course, like leading this group. And they find the tunnel pretty quickly, drop a gas canister in there to get him out. They also take note that there's like a calendar on the wall that shows Willa like in her karate uniform at Sergio's like karate. So they take note of that. Bob makes it to the other end of the tunnel, really emerges in this like junkyard, flees to like the nearest payphone where he gets on it and calls the French 75. Apparently knows this number, right? And again, he gets this guy on the phone that's like, he's like, hey, I got your message. Okay, shit's going down. I just need the coordinates to the rendezvous point. Like, where am I supposed to go? And the guy's like, well, you have to tell me what time is it. Just answer me this. What time is it? And he's like, I don't remember that part of the code. Just tell me where the rendezvous point is. It's like,
he's like, you just called me. You just called me. This is Bob Ferguson. I just talked to you. What is the rendezvous point? He's like, oh, sorry, sir.
You should have read the rebellion text. Like,
yeah.
You should have paid more attention to the rebellion text. You would know. Like, so Bob is fucking livid and he has to just hang up and keep running. So the military is like fully occupying this city. And so we are getting a lot of like, there's almost like a B plot running in the background where like immigrants are being kind of like rounded up, and we're going to learn that Sergio, our Benicio del Toro, our sensei, he is a bit of a figurehead in the community for helping these people escape the city. Bob apparently though can only think to come to this karate place. So he literally, while Sergio, our sensei, is like on the phone trying to plan logistics or whatever, Bob comes in with the A storyline to interrupt it, to say like, hey, no, I need you to be part of my plot for a little bit. Like, forget your noble work.
Him in this karate studio cracked me up. And yeah, he walks in and basically Sensei is like, hi,
Hey,
Bob. Like, it's very, you can see it's very common for Bob to be here and being like bizarre.
Hey, get down.
Yeah. I said, Bob army crawling in the studio was so funny. One thing too that I thought was funny, and I don't know if this was anything you noticed or if it really is what I'm thinking, but when he crawls out of his tunnel, he has like 2 bags there ready. He has like a big duffel bag and then this little like pink book bag. And to me, it seemed like he put these bags there like years ago. Like he moved here and they put these bags here, and he obviously was like preparing for like young Willa to run away with like this little book bag. And so for the next half of the movie, you see him carrying these 2 bags and you see him with this like big duffel bag and this little teeny pink book bag. So it's just funny, like all the preparation that he had, and you could tell he was so like prepared
years
probably
ago.
10 to 15 years ago. Yeah. So just him. And then the rest of the movie, he was sitting around in his robe and you see him the rest of the movie. He's in this like red checkered bathrobe. Like, I just think that was such a good like thing to his character. He never gets out of it the rest of the movie. So I just thought that was so funny. And police car drive by and he like dives down and army crawls across. And Sensei is just like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, he just doing the Lord's work here, Sensei. Like he does not like bat an eye. He never shows panic on his face at all. So he was like, okay, Bob, he's like, get up, come with me right now. We're going to go to my apartment.
Bob's like, I need a weapon. And he's like, okay, Bob, I can get you a weapon. He's like, you don't have any weapons here? He's like, Bob, let's go. And he's like shutting down the lights to his studio. He's like, Bob, please, let's go. And
yeah, we're cutting back and forth here a little bit. So again, all of Willa's friends, we're going to see them like being formally interrogated, almost like at a police station, by the scary soldier guy who, and eventually like Bobo, the non-binary one, is like, oh, Willa does have a secret cell phone. Here's her number. Like gives her up. And we cut to like Willa in this van with Deandra. They're heading to what we're going to learn is the rendezvous point that Bob is desperately seeking, but can't remember the code for. And her phone vibrates while she's in the van, and Deandra's like, I thought you said you didn't have a phone. Takes it and throws it, chucks it right out.
I'm trying to save your life here.
So Bob and Sergio are going to get to this apartment, and while Sergio is again like coordinating his own efforts to get people into sort of this like underground railroad type tunnel system to smuggle people out of the city, Bob is going to get back on the phone and is going to call it the French 75, and it's going to be that same guy again. And he tries a different approach this time. He tries to be more cool, empathetic, like, hey, it's me, Bob. He's like, look, I get it. Like, we have these languages, whatever. Like, I get the codes. I get it all. He's like, I just, my daughter's out there. I don't know where she is. I just need the rendezvous code. Like, if we could just bypass this, if you could just let me know where to go, please and thank you. I would owe you so much. And this guy's like, I can't give you the rendezvous point if you don't know the code. What time is it?
I need to know what time it is.
Bob's like, fuck you, you fuck face. God, fuck. And he's like, I'm deploying. I don't even remember the name of the maneuver, but basically he's like, I want to speak to your manager, please. Like, get me on the phone with your supervisor, who is this like random man we've never seen before, but apparently an old friend of Bob's. He's like, oh, Bob, hey, it's me, so-and-so. He was like, I'll get you the rendezvous point if you can tell me like what's my favorite kind of pussy. And so they have this moment.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was like, the fact that he knew it was bizarre and the whole thing. And then he's like, tell this man whatever he wants to know. He is a legend in French 75. And the guy's like, ugh, whatever.
So we find out the rendezvous point is like
a nunnery or a
something
convent.
of the Brave Beavers is what I remember.
Yes. Yes, you're so right.
So that is where Deandra and Willa are heading, is to the convent of the Brave Beavers. And so now Bob has the information. And meanwhile, out on the streets, it's like mayhem, chaos. Like the riots are going on, the protesting, this occupied forest. It feels a little too real, right? But all that's going on out on the street. And Sergio, he has a gun for Bob, this like sniper rifle kind of deal. And so again, Sergio never bats an eye, shows no panic. He's like, Bob, all right, here we go. We got to split up. I gotta take these folks here. You're going to go with some of my like sensei kids. You're going to go with them who like ride skateboards.
Ride skateboards.
Yeah.
Well, like this whole scene of him going from like his studio up to his apartment, and it does cut back to a couple other things, but like a lot of it seemed like it was all shot in like one shot. It like follows Sensei and Bob, and they just like go through all these rooms, and you see like Sensei is like telling all these groups like, all right, we need to go, like, let's go rapido, and telling all these people like basically stuff they've prepared for, something just like this. He's like, all right, it's happening. You take this, and like all this whole thing happens, and it was shot very well, and that it just seems like they're just walking throughout this house or this apartment building. And then it leads to this where he's like, here's your gun. And it's like a very iconic scene where they kind of split up at this point. And Leo DiCaprio does this thing, and it's like, Viva la Revolution. He's like, you know what? Yeah, he's like, thank you, Sensei. Thank you. He does, thank you, Sensei. And then, thank you. And then he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Viva la Revolution. And then the Sensei kind of like says it back, and they just kind of like depart. And I thought that was just a really cool, that whole thing I just loved.
The soldiers are descending on this apartment. So Bob takes the gun. He's going to follow these kids. They're like jumping over rooftops or whatever. He eventually is going to like fall down into an alley, which was crazy.
He falls 4 stories
and gets right back up and takes about 3 steps, gets tased, and is arrested by the police. And so the kids are eventually going to link up with Sergio after he gets the immigrants out. And he's like, where's Bob? And they're like, they got him. They're like, where's my gun? Like, we got that. And so Sergio's like, oh, Jesus Christ. That. But again, he's like, it's just like another day in the office for Sensei here.
Never panics. He's like, all right, let's do this.
Meanwhile, because of Will's cell phone, Lockjaw, they trace it far enough. They know, they talk to like a local at a gas station. They're like, what's around here? And they're like, oh, it's the convent for the Brave Beavers. And he's like, okay.
What do they do? He's like, I don't know. It's just a bunch of nuns that grow pot. And he's like, okay.
And we are going to see Deandra and Willa arrive at the convent, and they're being greeted by the weed growing nuns who work there. And this is where some tea does get spilled here, because clearly some of these nuns, if not all of them, are former members of the French 75. And Deandra's like, I have the child of Perfidia Beverly Hills here. Like, we're seeking sanctuary, whatever, we need help. And one of these women like comes down and like looks Willa straight in the face. Like, Willa's like, do I look like my mother? And she's like, not on the outside, but on the inside. You do.
I loved that.
And she makes a reference to like a rat.
Yeah, Deandra says she thinks her mom is a hero. And then you can kind of tell that they're like, oh, okay. And you see that mind is spinning of how do we tell her, So
let's stop down here, because we got to check in with our favorite white supremacist group, the Christmas Adventurers Club. It's very eerily disturbing in a way, because they seem to be having a secret meeting that's like in a sub basement of a basement of like some suburban home, and we're gonna see this new white guy kind of enter the movie, and he's gonna head all the way to this like sub basement where Tony is there, and all these other ugly white guys are all sitting around having a table.
This basement ironically gave me the same vibes as the basement in Get Out.
Thank you.
It's
yes,
like this,
exactly.
Like, yeah, very extravagant. It's almost dungeon-esque, and there's all these like dead animal,
heads of
animals. Yeah, so it gave me very similar vibes, which again is very ironic because they both have the same mission.
So the Christmas Adventurers Club, they're like, Tim, come on in, sit down. We have some troubling news for you. There's these nasty rumors going around, and they basically, due to the results of their investigation into Lockjaw, they basically lay out the whole beginning of the film. They're like, look, we found this report from a woman named Jungle Pussy 16 years ago when she was arrested. There was some sort of sexual encounter between Lockjaw and Perfidia. By the end of it, Lockjaw is not fit for the Christmas Adventurers Club. Tim, we need you to kind of take care of this situation. Take care of Lockjaw. Take care of Willa. So Tim's like, insane. I love it. So we're going to cut back to Bob. He's being like detained, processed. And there's a random woman there who's like, Bob, like, aren't you diabetic? Don't you need your insulin shot? And she's like giving him some very subtle, like, like, go along with me here. And Bob's like, yeah, I need my insulin shot. She's like, okay, great. Process him, take him to the medical wing. I don't know. And then while he's there, a nurse comes in pretending to like check in on him. But in reality, she like frees him from the handcuffs. She's like, you're going to go right here and you're going to jump out this window and you're going to be fine. And so he does. And there's Sergio Sensei waiting for in the getaway car with not only the gun, but with an open can of beer. As soon as he gets in, he hands him an open beer, and they're both drinking.
Yeah, they're both just like, oh, thank you. Opens the beer and drive away like it's just another day in the office.
And so they drive off. Bob knows where the rendezvous is, so that's where they're headed. This is also where Lockjaw is headed. And so we're going to cut back. It's like daytime. We're at the convent, and we're going to see Willa and Deandra sitting there. And it's kind of cool how the movie does it, because it's like it's completely silent, but Deandra apparently hears something, and she just like, tells Willa, puts the finger up to her lips, gets up silently, and just like disappears around a corner. And the movie takes a beat, and suddenly soldiers just come in instead of Deandra, and like we don't follow Deandra. Suddenly soldiers are there.
We have no idea what happened to her.
Come in, guns fully aimed at Willa. She hands up, they're gonna tie her to a chair, and Lockjaw rolls in. This is the first time that they are facing each other. Pretty electric, and he's got like a little case with him. He lays out the case and he shoves a Q-tip in her mouth, gets some like saliva, and basically he's gonna do a paternity test right here in front of her. And he's like,
he has a whole lab in his briefcase.
It's like, if all this lines up on the screen here, you're gonna be in some trouble, he says.
Yeah.
And he is gonna like set off to the side. Willa has a comment of like, why is your t-shirt so tight? And I just had to write this down.
Why is your t-shirt
he like kind of looks down on himself, and then he's like, I'm not gay. He's like, I'm not homosexual, if that's what you're thinking.
I'm not homosexual if that's what you're thinking.
and we in this movie like watching this like paternity test, and we're seeing like the lines start to descend on the screen, and this is like the big mystery, and suddenly the lines all lined up like he said, and he comes over. Willa, I think finally, like, she's been holding it strong, but this is where she kind of like is cracking a little bit, because the truth is there. Maury Povich comes out and he's like, Lockjaw, you are the father.
You are the
And he just looks up to her and says, uh-oh. Like, it's very chilling.
Uh-oh. I know, that was, yeah, exactly. Well, and the way that he left the case right in front of Willa, and like you said, he went and sat over. So Willa's watching the lines,
she sees it first before he
does.
does.
Yes.
And so we're like, oh shit. And we're going to cut to Bob and Sensei in the car. Kind of a nice scene where Bob is kind of about, again, they're both drinking beer, driving down the road. I made a note, but like Bob is kind of like admitting to his mistakes a little bit as a parent, not really being there. Like you said, Carly, with the bags and stuff, like he clearly, when they first got to Beckton Cross, like had set up all these contingencies, all these plans, and somewhere along the way, he just kept getting high and drunk and forgetting all the codes and forgetting all of his training and really forgetting to be a parent to Willa. And I think he's kind of realizing this all on the car ride, especially because, he knows that she's in real danger here. And he feels responsible.
I think he even says, like, I let my guard down. And he, like you said, he is just coming to terms with how he messed up.
And then as he takes a sip of beer, they just happen to cross a police car that's like staked out. So suddenly they get pursued by a police car. This all leads to Bob having to take the gun, the sniper rifle, and tuck and roll out of the car. And Sensei, again, such a great guy. He's going to lead the police away from Bob so that Bob can get to the convent. Lockjaw, he's going to put Willa into the back of one of these cars. We don't know really what's going on. And as he's doing this, Bob is out in the distance with the sniper rifle, shooting at them. But this is Bob we're talking about. He's probably still high, honestly. So he misses every shot, fails to hit Lockjaw here.
Yeah.
Lockjaw gets in the car and him and Willa drive off. Bob's gonna pick up the gun. He's gonna hijack a car.
Like the smallest, every time they show him driving in this car, you hear like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a very old Prius, and you just do it. It's like there's a big chase scene at the end, kind of with everyone's like speeding around, but every time they go to Bob in his car, the sound is like, so it is comical.
So we're gonna come to Lockjaw and Willa, and they are going to arrive at this like meeting place. They're like inside like a canyon.
One thing while they're driving is Lockjaw looks over at Willa and says, "I loved her, in case you were wondering."
Yeah.
And Willa, you could tell, is just kind of like, "I don't care." And he said, "The best goddamn looking witch I ever saw." So he's like trying to like bring some kind of like peace or remedy to this, but you could tell Willa just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't really care now that she knows her mom was a rat in a way. And now that obviously she knows who her biological dad is, she's just like, fuck off.
It's been a big day for Willa. She's processing a lot. And
big day.
And she has every reason to believe like she's about to be executed, like that they're on their way to him for him to kill her. So I don't think he really like loved Perfidia. I just think he has no idea what love is. I don't think he's really capable of it. I think he does believe it, but it's like it's his own way of justifying what it is that he's doing. But it's like, look at your actions, dude. Like it's so in the opposite of love. Like you're literally going to kill this 16-year-old so that you can join a white supremacist group that would have condoned your love for Perfidia in the first place, even if it was real. So this guy has just major issues. And they're going to get to this like meeting spot, and we're going to come back to our bounty hunter Avanti, the guy that Lockjaw initially hired to kidnap Howard, who got the information that set all this into motion, really. And he wants Avanti. Lockjaw gets out of the car, leaves Willa in the car, meets Avanti, and is like, "Hey, I want you to take care of this for me." And Avanti's like, "That's a kid. I don't
do kids." Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, well, take her to this like weird military group and give her to them." Yeah. And Avanti's like, "Now that's approved." So it's interesting because you would think Lockjaw would have just shot Willa right then and there. You know what I mean? Like, instead, it seems like Lockjaw can't even bring himself. And again, maybe this is because he loved Perfidia. He can't bring himself to be the one who actually kills Willa here. He hands her off to Avanti.
And one thing I do want to say is every opportunity she can, she's like kicking or trying to get away from people. So even in like transferring from one car to the other, she's like constantly kicking and trying to fight this. So Willa definitely has a lot of fight in her, which I think is part of, being Perfidia's daughter and the environment she grew up in. He
is going to, hand her off to Avanti. They're going to take off in their car. And ironically, we're going to see like Bob again is like a little like old Prius, whatever. And literally like Avanti like passes him, but he doesn't even know because it's a different car, right? So he has no idea that Willa just passed him. Lockjaw's going to get back into his car. He's going to be driving down the road. Bob is like not too far away behind him, but again, he's in a slow ass little noisy vehicle, right? But there is a third vehicle pulling up, a fast car, and it rolls up right alongside Lockjaw's vehicle. And Lockjaw rolls down his window, and we see that it's Tim in the other car. Tim's basically like, "Hey," holds up a gun, shoots Lockjaw in the face.
And he immediately skirts off the road, car flips over and over again.
It's like, oh, damn. Tim drives off. Yeah.
This huge antagonist throughout this whole movie, and he's
shot
just taken out.
Bob gets to the car accident scene, sees that Willa is not there. And we're going to cut to Avanti. He arrives at his destination. It is these like scary, probably white supremacist soldier guys with tattoos on their face and everything like that. He initially has kind of Willa chained to like a little like bench here, and they're outside of like a convenience store. But then Avanti has a change of heart and he like frees Willa. She gets back into the car. while he opens fire on these soldier guys. And it's a big shootout.
Well, Avanti, I think, is like Hispanic or
Yeah.
something. And as he's just dropping off Willa, they say some racist shit to him. And they're just not, you can just tell they're not good guys. And so Avanti, goes back to his car and he watches them just kind of like walk around and not even acknowledge Willa. And just, you could just see his change of heart. And he goes in and just shoots up the place.
You know, they're all dead. So Avanti included. So she gets the car keys. She also makes sure to grab his little pistol gun. So she's armed now. Willa gets into the car. She drives off. And this is where we get like a car chase. Like, she's driving along the road. Tim in his fast car, our assassin Tim guy who just shot Lockjaw in the face, he is behind Willa, gaining on her. And then Bob is behind Tim in his little Prius, like much further back from the two of them. And the road that they're on is very like hilly. Like, it's like crests, dips, you know, a lot of that. And so
the way it's shot, it's almost like as the driver, you see, I get very nauseous, and I almost, for a little bit, I was like, well, they cannot keep doing this.
Stop.
But yeah, it's the way it's shot. You are basically the driver seeing, and like you said, there's so many hills. There are moments you can't see what's next because of how hilly it is. And throughout this whole movie, there's this like piano score. Coming from a movie where there was no score, this movie, I felt like it was like there was this like beat going throughout the whole movie just to up the tension and like the just the feel of the movie. So this car scene was very well scored, where it just like your heart's pumping.
And I thought this was smart and well done, and because they're going pretty fast, both Willa and Tim are. And so she basically, as she gets over like the crest of one hill, she comes to a screeching halt, and it's a perfect sort of spot to brake because Tim can't see that the car is stopped over the hill. So she gets out, kind of runs over to the sign, gets in position with her little gun. And Tim, not seeing that the car is stopped, as soon as he gets over the hill, he's going way too fast. There's nothing he can do. Just rammed right into the back.
He's like, oh
fuck. Boom.
And just, crashes into Willa's car.
But he survives. He gets out and walks a little bit. And Willa has the gun on him and is shouting that coded phrase at him, the one that Deandra used in the bathroom, because she doesn't know who this guy is. She doesn't know what's going on, right? Like, there's a lot going on. It's a big day for Willa. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? Like, he's not part of the group. So Willa just shoots him.
He's like, what? I don't. And then before he could say anything else, she shoots him dead.
And she's like screaming. Like, she initially shoots him and then she like shoots again.
Yeah.
And it is like screaming. So, and it's effective. And Bob is not at risk at running into these cars at all because he's going much slower, but he gets over the hill. Gets out of the car, and it's kind of a slow scene where he just step by step, he's got his sniper rifle until he makes it past the point in the sign where like he sees Willa off of the side of the road. And this was a very interesting scene. She's like, who are you? She's like screaming at him.
Yeah.
Holding the gun at him. And he's trying to be, I'm your dad. Like, it's me. It's Bob. I'm your dad.
Me.
And she's
I'm
probably
your
maybe like
dad.
so shaken by just having murdered a guy and like this whole ordeal. But yeah, it's like she doesn't even recognize him. And it's like once she finally does, she like drops the gun, gets up, and like goes and hugs him. And it's a sweet little moment.
She starts yelling the code at him
Right.
too, and even he at first again, he can't remember shit, so he's kind of like what, and he tries not to respond, but he's like, Willa, I'm your dad, it's me. And then I think he does kind of say like the very first line of the response to the code, and then Willa just folds into him and is like, that's just what she needed to hear to just kind of like bring her back to, oh, this is who I trust.
So it's a sweet scene. They're gonna get in the little Prius and take off, and then the movie's gonna show us that somehow our man Lockjaw has survived a shot in the face, and we just see his whole face like bloody. He's just limping down the road. It's crazy, and he has no idea. He has no idea who Tim was, why he got shot in the face, right? Like, doesn't know the truth yet. And so we get our last time jump here for the epilogue of the movie. And we start with Lockjaw first, and he's in like an office building with Tony. He's with the white supremacist. He's got some facial reconstruction going on. He looks scary.
You just see him at first from the back. You don't even see his front. It's shot. You see him from the back, and Tony Goldwyn's like, all right, like, Colonel Lockjaw, thanks so much for meeting with us. And like, we just want to know if you're still interested. And then it pans to the front of his face, and his like whole lip is like basically like a cleft lip at this point. You can see his teeth all the time.
The eyes
and
dead.
his whole face has been reconstructed. Yes. Yeah. One of his
like
eyes
white.
is completely gone. Yes. I said, OMG, he's so fucked up. And they were like, can you tell us about this relationship with this Perfidia Beverly Hills? And he was like, I was raped in reverse. And they're like, excuse me, raped in reverse? Yeah, I believe she was a sperm thief. And then the guy was like, you mean like a semen demon? And he's like, yeah, you could call it that. And then he's like, he had prepared this whole story of what's going on, why this happened. And then, they're like, okay, please step outside. We're going to have a conversation.
So one of the guys, not Tony, steps out and he's like, congratulations, Lockjaw. You're officially in the Christmas Adventurers Club. And Lockjaw, it's Christmas Day for him. Maybe that's why they call it. He's thrilled. He's like, oh my God. And they're like, let's show you your office. You got this nice executive suite over here, all these windows. And he's like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is such an honor. They bring him into this office. He's like, wow. And the guy's like, oh my God, I forgot your key. Let me go get it real quick. And Lockjaw's like, not a problem.
Sitting here, relax. I'll be right back.
Goes and sits down in his office chair, puts his feet up on the desk, and he's like, I made it. I succeeded. And the camera view is like back of Lockjaw's head, aimed up towards the ceiling, and we just start to hear this like hissing noise. And we don't actually visibly see it, but gas is coming out of this vent in this room, and Lockjaw cuts to his face, and he's like, They literally gas him and kill him. In this office, and literally like two guys in like hazmat suits come in, wheel him away, and they like have a local cremation chamber that they
crematorium
throw him.
Unbelievable. Just how this is just another day in the office. They've done this a million times, it seems like.
Holy shit. And
that is the end of Lockjaw. He does not come back from this.
He lives. I'm just kidding. No, he is officially dead for sure. So for the final scene, we're going to come back to Bob and Willa at their home, almost in the exact same positioning they were when we had their first scene together, when she's sort of yelling at him for drinking and driving and all things. They're at the table together across from each other. And Bob's like, hey, like, I have this thing. It's for you. And
Do you want it?
He's like,
she's like, I don't know what it is.
What is it? He's like, it's a letter from your mother. And she's like, is it for you or is it for me? He's like, it's for you. And I debated about giving this to you. Don't know if it would have brought you more harm or anything, but, truly showing, I think, for the first time that he is letting go of his paranoia, trusting Willow to make her own decisions. And she's like, I want the letter. And he's like, you can even, if you want to take a moment to yourself and read it. And so she goes literally 3 steps away, sits on a bed and opens the letter. Yeah. And we get this like voiceover narration letter, and it's Perfidia's voice reading the letter, and as well as reading it. And it's like, it's a very sweet letter. It's just like, I think about you all the time. I wonder if you think of me. What do you like? What are you into? All these things that I wish I could know about you, and maybe one day I can. And yeah, it's not like a perfect like apology letter. It's like it's not perfect, right? It's no guarantee that like Perfidia is just gonna like re-enter their lives and that it'll all be perfect. But showing some like genuine remorse for what her decision making was 16 years, and we don't even know really when she wrote this letter. Was it soon after? Was it in the recent years? And it's emotional for Willa, and later she's gonna help Bob learn how to take a selfie on his iPhone, and
they both have phones now, which is a huge plus. And Bob doesn't know how to take a selfie. He's just this old stupid dad now.
They hear on the French 75 radio, there's a protest happening, and Willa really doesn't even ask for permission. She starts getting ready, but Bob is like, okay, be safe, like is willing to let her go out to this protest. And that's,
she gets in the car, pulls away, and Tom Petty's American Girl starts playing, which I think was an artistic choice in itself.
It's a good song.
That song, and I guess we will talk about it now, but that song plays at the end of season 1 of The Handmaid's Tale. It's the last song as Offred is being put into a vehicle and taken away for her revolutionary attitudes and opinions and acts. That song starts playing. It's like, as most of the show is, just focused on her face, and the doors close and she's like carted away by the police or whatever. But that song starts playing, and it's funny because I've watched that episode more times than I probably should have. I just really liked that show when it first came out. So I watched the season a few times, and just that song and the feeling that it gives at the end of that season of television, I think is so reminiscent of this. Yeah. She's getting into a car, she's off to, she's been through stuff, and you just know, just based on her just right away getting in the car. She's going to be part of some kind of revolution, just like her parents were. That song choice was obviously very thought of and intentional. And I thought it was a good song choice.
It really does evoke the title too. It's like we just finished a battle and there's another one. Like the work is ongoing. Like we don't stop. You know, it really is and can feel like it's just, one battle after another. And so there we have it. Our 98th Best Picture winner, One Battle After Another. What a fun little movie.
It was a fun movie.
I was genuinely surprised by the humor because, again, I kind of came in, especially because we started with like the immigration detention center. I was like, this definitely has some like, I feel like some real life applicability here. Like, you know, and I think Best Picture winners often reflect the current times. And that's a reason why they're so resonant and why they win. But the humor is kind of what threw me off. And like these characters are really wacky, they're quirky, and they're also very flawed. And I really like that. I don't know if that humor translated in the book as well, or maybe the book was more straightforward. And Paul Thomas Anderson, the director, brought this sort of levity to like really dark things. You know, we're talking about white supremacist groups and we're trying to kill a 16-year-old. Like these are all things that could have been really heavy. And instead, like it's still impactful, yet entertaining as I think all movies should be. I quite like this movie. It was one you know, because I've been following the sort of Oscar campaigns and the predictions, and this movie was always at the top of everybody's prediction list. So I am not surprised to see it join the list and was anticipating that it would have won. And I think deservedly so. We'll talk about maybe at least one other prominent film in the lesser half that could have taken the show, but this is a good film. And so I think we should rate it, Carly.
For sure. We really went back and forth on the emoji for this. We both usually like we'll watch it on our own time and we'll send like an emoji, be like maybe this. And this one, it was like this morning we were texting and I was like, I don't know. And we kind of sent some thoughts, but we really didn't pick until we talked a couple hours ago. And we went with the yellow fist emoji. Kind of to represent, you know, a revolution, power, also, you know, battle. It's kind of a fist, one battle after another. There's fighting. So I think that one was appropriate here. Yeah.
Well, Carly, I lead this off, but why don't you give your rating?
Yeah, I will. I'll give my rating. I thought it was a very good movie. It was not at all what I expected. I think, like you said, the humor caught me off guard throughout, and just how like I did enjoy the characters. And I thought, you know, I'm big on characters and just kind of getting some true human emotion from them. And so I did. I really liked this movie. I was between a 4 and a 5, and I think I am going to very confidently say this is a 4 fists movie. Okay,
4 fists.
Yeah, 4 fists. 4 fists, please. What about you, Brad?
Carly, I'm going to match your freak.
Love.
I think the movie is a titch too long. It's about 2 hours, 40 minutes.
There's some scenes that were very drawn out. Absolutely.
That's really it. I mean, like, I do think that like Bob and Willa's relationship starts in one place and ends in another. And I feel hopeful for their relationship moving forward, which I like. It almost feels like there could be a sequel, like more battles after another where Perfidia could show up. But it does kind of feel like a hanging thread of sorts of like, will she ever return? Like, will there be a reunion? What about the French 75? What about the Christmas Club? But all in all, in terms of this movie being a self-contained story, it was fun. It was entertaining. It had my attention the whole way through. And so a 4 feels right to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll go first with the next thing too, just because it's my day today. Okay. I was looking through the other night, Is It For the Girlies? And I'm like very
pro girly.
I'm like very giving with my thumbs ups. So in my head, I'm like, I have to say this isn't for the girls because I've given so many thumbs ups. When I think about how you said how you approach this, you know, is it a movie that was written, created for the girls? No, I don't think this one was written, created, developed for the girls. I think anybody would enjoy this movie because I think it is action-packed and stuff. But no, I'm going to say it's not for the girls. That's not the premise of this movie. Yeah. What about you?
Well, I did laugh out loud at the tight t-shirt. I'm not homosexual. I don't feel a sense of queerness.
Sure.
So I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
Right.
You know, it's made for a general audience, right? But like, what I'm looking for is like a specificity. Like Moonlight was made for gay people. Wings was made for gay people. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Wings was made for gay. Yeah. It might make me rethink some of my thumbs ups as I continue to hopefully gauge for the girlies in this way, but I mean, I'm not going to go back
No.
to my past self and rethink her thoughts.
I thought about that with ratings too, especially as we like rank things, and I'm like, oh, like maybe I would have given this a 3 or gone higher or lower, but yeah, the ratings, I think I'm gonna keep static. I think rankings is the only thing we've given ourselves the permission to shuffle around, and even then, I don't think we're gonna make any radical changes to the ranking list.
Yep.
You know, Carly, do you also want to? You can do the Rotten Tomatoes, or do you also want to lead off the ranking?
Oh, yeah. Let's do Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't even thought about this, and I have not seen.
Good luck.
This one. Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna say 97.
No, a little too high.
Is it in the 90s?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this is clear to you. I would say 2/3 of the Best Picture winners are in the 90s. Like, so if you are getting like an 80%, like you're kind of honestly at the bottom, which is crazy, but it's also Best Picture winners, right? You expect these to be really high numbers, really up there. This One Battle After Another got a 94%.
Okay.
Which
I
puts
like
it with a few others that we've done, including Wings, You Can't Take It With You, and My Fair Lady. Also all received 94. What a crew.
Wow, all very similar movies.
What a crew. All right, Carly. I mean,
I said it. I'm going first today.
I love it.
I will. I'll lead the way. Okay, I'm going to say, I think this movie needs to go one of the bottom 2 of A tier or the top of B tier.
Okay.
What do you think, Bradley? But I'm willing to be flexible as always.
I believe this is more of a B tier movie for me, so I would say top of B tier.
Okay. Do you think it could top B tier? Or do you think it deserves to be under? Yeah. Right now we have in B tier, we have My Fair Lady, 12 Years a Slave, and then Terms of Endearment. Those are the only 3. Yes. So where do you think it falls among those 3?
So when I was thinking about it, I only was confident that it should be above Terms of Endearment. And then and then where I never actually landed was where it goes from there. Should it be below or above 12 Years a Slave? Should it be above and below My Fair Lady? My Fair Lady, a very long movie, even longer than this one, 20 minutes longer. I would say the first half of My Fair Lady, not as interesting as the second half, where the conflict really comes out, the ball happens, the Higgins, Eliza, the conflict scenes I really liked. But it takes a long time to get there. 12 Years a Slave, mercifully short, but of course, its violence is unflinching and was tough to watch, but a powerful film on its own. Yeah. I do, now that I'm kind of talking out loud, I think it should go at the top. I think I do. I think I like this story more. I mean, the My Fair Lady story is classic. It's existed for like 100 years, in different iterations and different formats, and she's all that. But I kind of like a One Battle After Another more. Like it's not a story.
And I like like you had mentioned at the beginning, there's very much an ensemble cast feel to this movie, and you care about all of them, and in My Fair Lady, there were a lot of side characters that you don't necessarily care about, but like you said, it left me wanting to know more about all these people. We didn't really mention it, but Deandra is arrested at the end of the movie. But you want to know, like, what's next for her? You're rooting for her. But these little side characters in My Fair Lady, you don't really care too much about when the movie's all over. Even some of, like, the characters they do highlight, you're like, I could have left the dad out of the movie kind of thing. But, yeah. So we agree. Top of B tier?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're adding to B tier. I love it.
Let's talk about the director, and then I want to hear about the actors, because we love them.
Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson, I would otherwise say, should be known as husband to Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph's husband, which I had no idea.
I did not know either. Yeah, the Oscars, suddenly she's like sitting by him, and they're like kissing as he goes up. I was like, oh.
You're like, wait a minute.
Here's the thing, though. They're not actually legally married. They have been together for over 20 years, and they will refer to each other as husband and wife, but they're not actually legally married. And so, like I said, Paul, this is a big night for him. He comes in the 98th Oscars with a lot of nominations. He's going to walk away from the 98th with 3 Oscars. So to go from 0 wins to suddenly 3 wins is incredible. And again, he has several movies that were nominated for Best Picture but did not win. The first one we talked about already with No Country for Old Men, but he directed There Will Be Blood, which lost to No Country. And in recent years, he directed Phantom Thread and Licorice Pizza. All of those were in the Best Picture nominee category. But even before that, he's directed Boogie Nights, Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, Inherent Vice. It's interesting because I have not seen a single one of these films, and yet I know these films. I know these titles
of them.
And so this guy it's on me, honestly, for not discovering him sooner, because he's been around the game for a while. It was almost like he was due for a win. Like he was finally due. I view it similar to like Christopher Nolan, where like he gets a lot of nominations, a lot of awards, but he never secured the Best Picture win until Oppenheimer. And it just kind of felt like this is your time.
Mm-hmm. In this movie and the recognition it got, making me watch this movie, I now want to go watch
his other
Licorice
ones.
Pizza. Yeah. And I want to go watch his other stuff, because the way that he does action, humor, drama all in one thing, like I want to see more of it for sure. So big fan.
And apparently like the flawed characters that we saw in One Battle After Another is just it's what he likes to write. Mm-hmm. And he did write this movie as well, the screenplay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so all of his films, you should expect deeply flawed characters of some sort. So, but yeah, that is PTA, as they call them in the business. So.
Ooh, really? PTA?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I clocked that. So, Carly, which of the ensemble cast here?
Well, I just wanted to say that I thought all of, sometimes when the same person has to give multiple speeches in one award show, it could almost get like too much, but I think he did a really great job. And in general, it just made me a fan of him. Like the things he brought up, the things he mentioned, it made me really like him. I think to be married to Maya Rudolph, or coupled with Maya Rudolph for so long, like, yeah, exactly. So big fan of PTA. So yeah, I mean, lots of people to dive into in this movie. First, Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, love of my life. And I recognize too that we will talk about him two other times. Mm-hmm. He will be in The Departed, which won in 2006, and he will be in the Titanic. So Leonardo DiCaprio famously has been nominated a shit ton and has only won once, including this one he did not win, but he was nominated for. But he does have his one actor win with The Revenant. So he finally, I feel like it was like this big thing. Everyone was like, finally, he's going to get it.
That's what I feel like I grew up hearing, was like, Leo's never going to get his Oscar. Like the Academy's never going to recognize him. And
right. Some just little things. His first nomination was for What's Eating Gilbert Grape in 1994. He was nominated for that movie for Best Supporting Actor, making him the 7th youngest ever to be nominated for that. So he was 19, I think. I don't know why my parents had us watch that at a very young age, but I know that I grew up watching that movie a couple times. Very good film. So I was going down this rabbit hole. 3 days ago, there was this Reddit posted saying Leonardo DiCaprio now has the most decorated filmography in Academy Awards history. And I'm like, okay, I'll bite. So I went to this page. Best Picture winners. Leonardo DiCaprio is credited in 3 Best Picture winners now, which I just went over, all of which he was top billed in. Only one other person was top billed in 3 Best Picture winners, and that's Dustin Hoffman. So that's one. Best Picture nominees. DiCaprio has credited appearances in 12 Best Picture nominees. That's the most of all time of any actor. Wow. Overall Oscar wins. So DiCaprio's filmography altogether have 39 wins at Oscar wins. So again, most of any actor. The next one is someone we've seen before, Ralph Fiennes with 36. And then overall Oscar nominations of his whole filmography, his films have 122 Oscar nominations in all of the films he's been in. The only person who's even close to him and tied with him is Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
So looking at all of that, just him being at the top of all of those, like, unbelievable. He's been nominated for 8 Oscars and has only won 1. So that's, again, just a lot. Everyone has a Leonardo DiCaprio movie that you know and love.
I pulled up this list of, like, those who have multiple acting Oscars, like multiple acting wins. It's just crazy that he's not on that list, you know? Like, it starts with, like, you have to have at least 2 wins to be on this list on Wikipedia, and it's like, it's just kind of crazy for him to be in all these works that are so celebrated by society, but it's like his role specifically is kind of looked over, including in One Battle After Another.
And, like, it's not even that he's just in them. Like, he's the main character in a lot of them, and he plays, like, like Wolf of Wall Street, like you just said, like, he is unbelievable in that movie. And to think that he didn't win, I mean, I could see Titanic, I get he's, he was a young actor. I don't know if it was an award-winning performance. He actually wasn't even nominated for that performance, so the Academy really didn't care about that. But I just think, in general, like, it's unbelievable that he's only won once.
Do you think that Timothée Chalamet is on a Leonardo DiCaprio trajectory because he is
A
nominated.
trillion
He's
percent.
nominated every year, and yet he hasn't secured a win yet. And I wonder if that will build and build and build.
Well, but also, I mean, Timothée Chalamet's our age, maybe
Right.
younger. Like, and I think he's the youngest person to have been nominated
Like
for Best
times,
Actor
something like that.
3
Yeah.
times already. I think he is on a better trajectory, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he is just like a really great actor and he just will always be really great,
Right.
but never the
Right, yeah.
best. You're so right. That might be a good now version of Leo DiCaprio. Wow, that's kind of crazy to think about. And now I want to dive into Sean Penn. And I was kind of diving into Sean Penn and I was like, there's probably not going to be a lot to talk about. Was I wrong? He has been nominated 6 times for 6 different movies, and he won for 3 of them. 2004, Mystic River, 2009, Harvey Milk, and 2026, he won Best Supporting Actor for this movie, One Battle After Another.
Which puts him into that elite club
Yeah.
of multiple acting wins. And in fact, like with 3 acting wins, he's in a group of 8. We've talked about this on some of our previous
Yes.
episodes because Katharine Hepburn remains the title holder with 4, not even supporting. She has 4 Best Actress awards. And
Crazy.
nobody has yet to even match her with 4. So the other 7,
Yeah.
with Sean Penn entering that 7
Mhm.
as the most recent. If you'll let me, I'll just run off the names real quick. We talked about Frances McDormand. Meryl Streep is a part of that list. Jack Nicholson. We talked about Ingrid Bergman,
Yep.
Daniel Day-Lewis, and a guy named Walter Brennan,
Yep.
who was definitely from like the 30s, 40 era. But yeah, it's only 8 people.
I did have this list, by the way.
Sorry, I was excited.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did have this list written down. No, it's okay. No, but you're very right. It's a very exclusive
Yeah.
group. I mean, 3 or more wins, there's only 9. And all of the actors that have made movies,
Mhm.
you
Crazy.
know? And it's unbelievable. And someone like Sean Penn, and I kind of will get into this, but you don't hear his name a ton, you know? I think he was more of like the late 90s, early thousands. Like he was bigger then. The first thing I saw him in was I Am Sam, and I loved that movie. And he was nominated, but didn't win for that. But yeah, I mean, I think he's more of a 90s face and actor, but
I feel like I met him when he guest starred on Friends, when he was like dating Phoebe and
Sure,
Ursula.
sure.
And then
yeah. You're so right.
and of course, growing up as like a young gay kid, I've never watched Milk,
Oh my gosh.
but I obviously know like that was a big role for him. But he is kind of a kooky guy in real life, and I don't know, it's just he's interesting, but kind of famously very anti Academy Awards, like anti Oscars.
Hollywood. Yep. Yeah, he actually didn't even go in 2026, and he claims, or it was believed that he is in Ukraine visiting Vladimir Zelensky. I read a lot about it. Some people are like, no, he wasn't. I guess he gave one of his Oscars to Vladimir Zelensky and said, you can return this to me once Ukraine is free, and I promise that will happen someday. Wow. Yeah, so he's like and I guess a couple years ago, Zelensky was asked, or a lot of people wanted Zelensky to come speak at the Academy Awards, or at least be a guest, and the Academy wouldn't let it happen. So everyone's saying this was his middle finger up to the Academy by saying, oh, I can't come, I'm in Ukraine with Vladimir Zelensky. But yeah, you're right. He's very notably anti-Hollywood, anti the Academy, but I mean, he keeps doing work. And he's also like famously very serious. Like a lot of people say that meeting Sean Penn is never a good experience, but he has hit a lot of people, and he's like known for hitting people, like literally like hitting them. He actually went to jail for 60 days for hitting a film extra, and they sued him and all of this. So
yikes. It's
just a lot going on with Sean Penn, I guess. But quickly, I touched on Benicio del Toro, who is a 3-time nominee and 1-time winner. He won in 2001 for Traffic, and then he was nominated for this movie but did not win. He is in a few big franchises. He's in Marvel as the Collector. He's in Star Wars, which I'm not familiar with.
Yep, it's a famous franchise.
Oh, okay. Star Wars. And he was also in a James Bond movie. He is the youngest villain ever in a James Bond movie. So little things here and there. But like you said, I've never seen a thing with him that I didn't enjoy him in.
He's good.
For sure. Teyana Taylor, like what a powerhouse. She was born in 1990, so not that much older than us. But listen to this. She's a choreographer, an actress, a singer, a songwriter, a model, and a dancer. At 15 years old, she
shit.
choreographed Beyonce's Ring the Alarm music video.
What?
15. I know. I was like in high school, and she
I
was
like
doing
sitting on
this.
a couch somewhere. 15.
100%. I was, yeah, I don't know. I like had braces, and she was doing
Right,
this.
I was like ugly.
Yeah. I do want to say, as someone who is from Cleveland, she married Iman Shumpert, who, Brad, you would know from the 2016 Cavs National Championship.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that one.
So you remember it. Yep, we all watched. We were all in together in 2016, and he was part of that team. And he also is the winner of the 30th season of Dancing with the Stars.
Oh.
So I loved that season. I loved him on it. And I just wanted to give a shout out to him. They are divorced now, but they were married.
Okay.
So, and last but definitely not least, Chase Infiniti,
Chase.
who has 3 acting credits and is basically a star in all 3 of them. Presumed Innocent on Apple TV, one of the lead roles. This movie, of course, one of the lead roles. And then she will be in the upcoming The Testaments, which came out in April. And again, she's like the main role in that. She plays Agnes, who we all know
we were
who
there.
She is, what she is. We were there, exactly. So I don't know, just like we said before, a rising star. PTA even definitely like name dropped her in his last speech of the night, was like, Chase Infiniti, you are it. You are a shining star. And I just think that is going to like place back someday, 50 years from now, when she's getting like recognized as a star. But that's it. Thank you.
Well, let's talk about this most recent Academy Awards, hosted by Conan O'Brien. This is his second time hosting, but it's also the second year in a row that he has hosted. It was kind of played as a bit of a joke at the end, where it was like a recreated scene from the end of One Battle After Another, where like the Academy Award guy is like, hey, you're going to be host for life. Let's show you your new office. And then they bring him in and they gas him. But I did read a headline somewhere online that they're like, that was actually a genuine offer. Like if Conan O'Brien wants to host for as long as he wants, he can, basically. And so I do wonder if we're ushering in
the next Bob
Yeah,
Hope.
right. Are we getting in a Conan O'Brien era? And I think he did a fine job. It's funny because, to Sean Penn's point and view of the Academy Awards, like the Academy is definitely not without criticism, and people definitely look at the Academy of like, you're way too apolitical, you're way too silent and neutral about the things that are going on in the world. And it's interesting because a lot of the performers who go up to accept speeches, and perhaps every Oscars is like this, but like it certainly feels like every year that I watch them, like the speeches are getting more and more political. A lot more sort of statements are being made, people using their platforms to share important messages. So I thought Conan O'Brien did a good job. He had a few laughs, but definitely some political digs in there, which I enjoyed. So yeah, I do wonder if we'll continue to see that orange hair for the next few years or so. Will he do the 100th?
Yeah.
I would say he's a contender. So Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor presented Best Picture. This is a bit of a Moulin Rouge reunion between the two. They made references.
Yeah. If you don't know they were in Moulin Rouge together, which I didn't until I Googled it, it was a very awkward interaction.
Yeah, I did not know what they were doing.
Do these people know each other? I know. They were like touchy-feely. Yeah. I was like, well, that guy let go of her. And then they started like, you could tell there was like some bit going on. So I was like, wait, what do they know each other from? But yeah, it was kind of awkward if you didn't get the context.
Yeah, seeing them both up there, I was like, oh, they wouldn't have just randomly paired these two together. They must have some sort of, film connection or some sort. So I was like, it was conceivable to me that they had been in a movie prior to that. And I'm like, oh, of course, Moulin Rouge. So let's go through the lesser half because we got 10 movies in total.
There's a lot of them.
We're in this era. First up is Begonia. This is directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, if that is how you say it. That's a name that's also kind of like PTA. He keeps popping up, and Emma Stone is his muse. She continues to be the lead in most of his movies. Recently, like Poor Things. She was also in The Favorite. These are all his films, so I feel like his day is coming. I did watch Begonia. This also had Jesse Plemons playing a bad guy.
I am thankful for Begonia because it gave us Jesse, Kirsten.
Oh, they were there. Yeah.
Photos throughout the award season. So I always like that when you're like, oh, this person's in this movie, so we're going to get lots of pictures and interviews with them. So that was nice.
Yeah, Begonia had 4 nominations. One of those is for Emma Stone. And if she had won, she would have joined this elite group of 3 acting wins.
Oh, yeah.
So I kind of was like, I would not mind if that happened. So, but unfortunately, Begonia took home 0 wins.
Anybody that buzzes their head for a movie, I think should just automatically earn a nomination.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Anne Hathaway, did it. And I think she did win for her role in Les Miserables. And I just think if you, as a woman, shave your head for a role, you should get a nomination. You earn it.
The next film, a bit of a head scratcher. It's F1. This is like a racing movie that Brad Pitt produced and starred. I believe Javier Bardem is also in this as well. So it was released on Apple. I guess we always have to have, a race car. I was like Ford v Ferrari, and now it's F1. But I did not watch this.
We always need to have a race car.
It had 4 nominations. It had 1 win, unsurprisingly, in Best Sound for all the vroom, Okay, the next film is Frankenstein.
Frankenstein in love.
Kinda, actually. Frankenstein, directed by Guillermo del Toro. He's had his day at the Oscars with The Shape of Water. Frankenstein, released on Netflix, had 9 nominations, so quite a bit. And in fact, it has 3 wins: production design, makeup and hair, and costume. So yeah, that one had a huge ensemble cast. Jacob Elordi, I think, is probably going to be one of these actors who will get a Best Actor win at some point in his career. So the next film, the underdog pick, is Hamnet, directed by Chloe Zhao, who we talked about, directed Nomadland, who was also going to direct and executive produce the new Buffy the Vampire sequel series that was just canceled, as well as all my hopes and dreams in life, and the light has died in my eyes because that is no more. So
I LOL'd at your Instagram post about that.
I was like,
but I am sad for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
They said, what was it? It was like,
they will not be moving forward at Hulu. And I was like, and I will also not be moving forward with happiness.
With happiness.
Hamnet had 8 nominations and 1 win. It's a big win. It's for Jessie Buckley for Best Actress. But she has somebody that's been on my radar. Yeah. I really do like her. I
did not expect her to have an accent when she went up to accept
she
her
is
award,
Irish.
But...
Next, speaking of Timothy, it's Marty Supreme. This is A24 film. We talked about that. Directed by Josh Safdie. And it's like a ping pong story. But table tennis, Timothy Chalamet, he loves pumping out these biopics. So
yeah, he does.
Marty Supreme had 9 nominations and 0 wins. They were many jabs at Timothy about his comments about ballet and opera throughout the entire 98th Academy Awards. Don't know if he had a good time, but this is Timothy. He's going to be in Dune 3. He's got more things coming.
He's
fine.
Yeah, fine.
The next film is The Secret Agent. This is a Brazilian film starring Wagner Moura. It looks like Wagner. Also,
Wagner.
I'm legally obligated to say, this is my first time seeing him, but he is like cutie, and I am a smitten kitten for Wagner here. Anywho, Secret Agent had 4 nominations, 0 wins, unfortunately. But I know Brazilians were very excited. I think Wagner is the first Brazilian actor to even receive a nomination at the Academy Awards. So
cool.
The next is also a foreign film, Sentimental Value. This is a Norwegian film. It had 9 nominations and 1 win. It does win Best International Feature Film. It has Stellan Skarsgård in it, Elle Fanning.
It's funny because watching the Academy Awards, I was like, I want to watch that
That's
movie.
A very Carly coded movie.
You were like, I even more don't want to. Yeah. You were like, I even more don't want to watch this movie. But so I probably will watch it at some point.
The next film, and probably the biggest contender to One Battle After Another, is Sinners. It came in this night with a record-breaking 16 nominations. Like,
crazy.
That is historic. No other film has ever achieved it, which is why a lot of people believed, and there was a lot of momentum building around Sinners. It ultimately takes home 4 wins. Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan. I think this is well-deserved. He plays twins in the movies, but even before that, when you think about Black Panther or Creed, like, this is a phenomenal actor, and I'm glad to see his due. It wins in Best Original Screenplay, Score, and Cinematography. I did watch Sinners. I think it's a great film. I would have liked to have seen it, personally rooting for it, just because I love to see more representation of the horror genre in the Best Picture winners. But it was, I think, a good night for Sinners overall. And then the last film is a movie I never even heard until like the nomination, Train Dreams. This was released on Netflix. It has Joel Edgerton in it. I don't know anything else about it. Does not look like not even a Bradley coded movie or a Carly coded movie. It looks like just a movie.
No.
It has just a movie. 4 nominations and 0 wins. So One Battle After Another comes in with the second highest number of nominations with 14. It's ultimately going to take home 6 wins. So, of course, wins in Best Picture. PTA does win Best Director. Sean Penn does win for Best Supporting Actor. So, unfortunately, Leo, Benicio, and Teyana do not win, but they are all nominated. It wins in Best Adapted Screenplay, which PTA wrote, so another win for him. It wins in Best Casting, which is the debut category.
New category alert.
I really feel like Chase Infiniti is a huge reason why I think this film wins Best Casting, to find that talent. It also wins in editing, and so it loses in addition to the acting categories I mentioned already, it loses in score, sound, and cinematography. Yeah, so I did take some notes here. We did talk about cinematography. I did not realize this because a woman apparently has never won this award before. So when she got up, she made all the women in the room stand up. Frances McDormand, I know, did this. Maybe for Nomadland, I'm not sure one of her wins, but now I understand why. It's because like a woman has never won in this category before. So, and she's a woman of color. Like it's a huge historic win for this category. Sticking with the women, I mean, Chloe Zhao, she's the second woman to receive a second Best Director nomination. And she's the first woman of color to receive a second nomination for Best Director. So of course, I always want to gas up Chloe here. The first casting Oscar goes to a woman, Cassandra Koulakundis. The Best Supporting Actress is the only category we haven't talked about, the acting categories. And Amy Madigan wins for her role as Gladys in Weapons, a movie that I watched and loved, a horror movie. So she was the first Oscar, like the first award that went out. And I was happy to see Amy get it. And
it's always so bizarre to me, the order, because they start bang, bang with 2 actor categories. And then they take a 2-hour break and give away all the other things. And then they get back to the actors and Best Director and film and stuff. So I feel like it's very intentional because you get very interested. And then they just kind of go through all these other things that most people I don't think are as interested in. But
well, Amy also holds a record. This is her second nomination in her career. And it's the longest gap in between her first nomination and her second one of 40 years. She has been in the game for that long. That's awesome. And this one comes with a win. So it just adds extra specialness to her win. This Academy Awards saw for the 7th time in history a tie occur. I believe in the live
action
short.
Thank
you, yes. A lot of people on the internet seem like, whoa, a tie. But because of this project, I'm like, oh, you casuals. Like, this has definitely happened before in Oscars history. So we talked about one of them. It's been a while, but I believe during the Oliver episode is when we saw a tie for Best Actress between Barbra Streisand and the other woman. Or maybe it was Katharine Hepburn, actually. I made a note just about the In Memoriam tributes because it was expanded upon this year with some moving tributes to Rob Reiner, who Billy Crystal came out, and then Rachel McAdams came out. She gave a brief mention to Catherine O'Hara. I would have liked a more moving tribute for Catherine, but Rachel McAdams was really there to talk about Diane Keaton, because I believe they were together in a movie called The Family Stone, right? And that's a movie that's near and dear to you, Carly.
Yes.
So
love.
And then Barbra Streisand, speaking of, came out to give a tribute to Robert Redford. So I kind of appreciated seeing like a more, rather than just their names on a slideshow, that there was an actual sort of tribute to them. So I thought that was nice. And speaking of tributes, we do get a Bridesmaids reunion, and I did love it. Although Melissa McCarthy's mic was like really muffled, so it kind of took me out of it a little bit. But yeah, it was almost all of them. The only one missing, I forget her name, but she got like a neck lift.
The blonde.
Yeah, she had like plastic surgery, so she couldn't make the Oscars. But
no, it was iconic. And you wonder if because Rose Byrne was there,
nominated,
because she was nominated, and you knew Maya Rudolph would be there, like you wonder if they were just like, oh, let's like throw this group together.
Yeah. And so it was great. This is the 15-year anniversary of Bridesmaids. This year's Academy Awards, I did just look up the Rotten Tomato score. It's at an 80%, which is actually, I think, the highest I've ever seen for the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
So I think people overall like the Academy Awards. I think me watching it, I think there was like some lulls for sure, maybe in the middle a little bit.
Always.
But yeah, I thought there was like some good laughs and some good moments and a good film won. And yeah.
I really didn't like when they cut off that one guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
for best song.
Yeah, one of the songwriters for Golden.
Yeah. That really made me really sad for him.
It's so awkward too.
That was the only.
Yeah, like when they do that.
I know. So awkward.
It's like, just let them speak. It's like,
we're already over. Right. They cut the mic completely.
Yeah.
Like they started playing music for like softly, but then they just cut the mic. But then I think it was like the next person, Paul Thomas Anderson, had already made a speech, and they just let him go on as long as he wanted, you know? And I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, we couldn't have given that guy 15 seconds to say something, and he like pulled out this list. It was so cute, and he like
He's
moved
like,
over.
I just want to say, but
I just want to say, and they cut the mic and they played the music loud, and it was like, oh, but it's okay. Like, I mean, that always happens. It always has. The Oscars are always a little boring, kind of funny.
Yeah. Well,
another one in the books.
We did it. The most recent Best Picture winner, and I think Carly, without further ado, let's announce our next episode, our next film. We're going back to the wheel, baby. And we're going from the 98th to the third Best Picture winner.
Third. 1, 2, 3.
All Quiet on the Western Front. We're going back to war, Carly. We're serving. We're enlisting. Time to sign up. We're going
to the Western Front. I can't wait to hear you say that a bunch.
But yeah, join us next time for the third Best Picture winner of all time. And Carly, as always, love you.
Brad, I love you so much. Bye.